Well, you all know we're at a time in this industry of great change. And for some of you, that's a lot of stress. But I'm going to tell you, you can turn that stress around into opportunity. What we need to do is look back at where we've gotten to and how we can move on from there. So for the past several decades, what have we told people? If you don't want your pet, bring it to the shelter. We've been full at the shelter. Why did we ask people to keep bringing them? In fact, we demanded they bring them back if they adopted them from us. How dare you think you could find better home than we could find rehoming your pet? We were controllers. We were regulators. We need to stop that. So when we were controlling, not only were we asking people to bring all these animals to us when we were full, we were making it very hard for people to adopt. So we had really restrictive policies. We had hurdles for them to jump. We asked them questions. We treated them all as if they were that 1% of the ultimate bad owner. We wanted to find the 1% of the ultimate good owner. What happened to the 98% in the middle? That's everybody. That's you and me. When I came to my shelter, I couldn't adopt under their old policies. I didn't have a fenced yard. That was one of our policies. So we've got to now become innovators and facilitators and find ways to help people keep their pets, help people adopt pets more easily, and help the community become better pet owners. So I come from the animal control side. That means I take in everything that's left in the community. So those of you who are sitting out there going, well, our restrictive policies are great because we know we get the best owners. Guess where those animals end up? Those animals will end up in our shelter with another rescue. We need to look at a community approach. Everybody is responsible for solving this problem. Too big of a problem for any one of us, not such a big problem if we all work together. Imagine a shelter that was killing 20,000 pets and had a 17,000 live release. Did I think that was a hurdle that could be undone? I'm telling you I did. I thought, well, we can maybe get to 70% and I'll be happy because 17 to 70 is good. But on that path, I was like, why would we stop at 70? Why would we stop at 90? Why don't we stop when there's no more pets to save? So when we start looking at this at a community, we also have to open up our minds and think of what can we do to help? So we have to reach beyond the professionals, beyond the 501c3s, beyond the shelters, beyond the animal control facilities, and start reaching out to individuals. My shelter deals with 240 501c3 rescues, but I come from a community of 1.3 million people. If I could just get 1% of those people to help me rehome pets, imagine how much easier my job would be. So we now encourage people to adopt, to rehome. We know that they're not going to keep the pets, but we know they're going to find them a good home. Why would you think that somebody would take a pet, take the time to care for that pet, and then go give it to a bad home? It just doesn't happen. We need to stop breaking these myths. Some of the myths that we've created for ourselves. So we've controlled and we said, bring your pets here. We're going to make it hard for them to go out. And then we made ourselves feel good by saying, well, there's not enough adoptive homes out there. It's better for this animal to be euthanized to end up in a bad home. Those are wrong. I'm telling you, when we go into a community that thought it had not enough homes, and we're saving 92%, and 4 out of 5 people who leave our shelter don't leave with a pet, that means there's plenty of homes. You might say, well, nobody wants the pit bulls. Nobody wants those dogs that nobody is eager to get. We have a high percentage of those being adopted. You've got to change the perception. This community and this industry has sort of created our own problem. Now we need to break free of it and think outside the box. So to give you some examples of what we've done to become innovators and facilitators, our animal control officers have always been out there educating. License your pet, microchip your pet. I'm a huge microchip advocate. But what value did that give us other than us giving them a call once the animal came to the shelter? Well, why did we bring that animal into the shelter? We knew where it was owned, sometimes just a matter of a couple of houses away from where you picked it up. So we encourage our officers to take it home first, see if the people are home. If they're not, we put a little door hanger and we'll call them later. But we don't do what some other animal control agencies do. Animal control has always been the enforcer. And so they would return an animal and write them a ticket for it being at large. What a way to ruin your best PR moment ever. You got a person who's super happy that you brought their pet home, and then you're going to write them a $100 ticket. Or they're super happy that they found their pet in the shelter, and you're going to charge them $100 to get it back out of the shelter. These are the times to enhance that positive experience. These are times to educate when people are going to be super receptive. They're so happy you brought them the pet. Now tell them, oh, by the way, we found your pet because it has a microchip, but we want to make sure that it's up to date. We don't see a license, so we're not sure if it's vaccinated. The reason you need to get it vaccinated is for public safety, and you go on to those things. So the other things that we do is we encourage people to come in and test drive pets. So these people who are a little bit wary of adopting, we let them take them home. Try them out for a while. Bring them back if they're not all right. What about the business people in your community? People who may have to relocate for 2 or 3 months in one of those long-term stay hotels. Let them borrow a pet. They're missing their pet. What's the worst case scenario? These pets come back to your shelter. What's the difference between that and a foster home? So these are like little mini foster homes. These people often adopt the pet or find somebody to adopt the pet, and they've done your job as well. We also look towards being a resource. So a lot of people who come to the animal control shelter think it's the last resort. I can't do it. I just lost my job. Let's get them the food they need. Let's get them the public services they need. Let's find a way to keep that dog in that home or that cat in that home because that's the best place for it. These people will get back on their feet. We need to help them. Again, innovate, facilitate, help get these animals home. Try some unique ideas. We have a lot of big, we call them Florida brown dogs. Everyone calls them pit bulls. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. We found that they tend to be in our shelter a long time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So we started DNA testing at 30 days. We post the DNA results on the cages. Yes, it's expensive. It's probably $85, but it costs us about $20 a day to house the animal. So I've already spent a ton of money on 30 days of keeping the animal in that shelter. So what happens is, believe it or not, 75% of them end up being Amstaffs or bulldogs or something exactly what you think they are. But what you don't realize is someone will look at that DNA profile and they will say, 75% Amstaff, 25% pointer. Oh, we can adopt it. It's a pointer mix. Because they've already fallen in love, but they've got the stigma of the look of a pit bull. That's a way to break that stigma. We're here not only to encourage you to learn from us, but we want to learn from you. Aha moments happen all the time. Don't let them slip away. Put them into action. I'm going to leave you with one last thought from the industrialist Henry Ford. He said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Meaning, if you have a can-do attitude, failure is simply a step towards success. Critics are simply a step toward opportunity. Be the innovator. Be the facilitator. Get your aha on.